Welcome everyone. Thank you so much for joining. This is how to be a YouTuber right now. I'm so excited to do this workshop. If you are new here, I'm Jennifer O'Brien on YouTube, and I'm going to be sharing some really helpful resources, tips, and everything in partnership with Bublup. If you haven't joined the folder, make sure you do. It is in that last email that you got. It is where my presentation is, and a ton of amazing resources, including templates to create all sorts of different things from your YouTube banner to your YouTube thumbnails that I think are going to be super helpful. So I'm so excited you guys are here. Don't forget there is this whole section called, it says questions on top, and that's where you can chat to us. You can ask anything if you have any questions now, especially at the end. We'll answer a lot of questions at the end. I can't wait to hear from you guys. Can't wait to answer any questions that you have. And yeah, I'm so excited you chose today to be, to join this awesome part of the journey, because I know YouTube is very scary and intimidating in the beginning. It was totally scary to me. It took me a while to finally make that start, but I hope that this kind of gives you the inspiration and the tools to make it happen. I'm going to start showing my screen and we can get started. Basically, let's make sure, yep, boom, show my screen. Okay, so you should be able to see right here, I have my Bublup folder, and this is called How to Be a YouTuber Now. You have links to everything organized in these folders. I also want to say, very important, this folder is yours. This is completely your folder. So the cool thing about Bublup is that you can really collaborate. It's super collaborative with friends, anyone, colleagues. You can add things to this folder, and I will actually I will comment back and give you input on thumbnails or videos, whatever you're interested in and interested in sharing. I'm so excited to really, collaboratively look at your content, things like that, and however I can help you. If you're thinking like, ooh, this video, do you like this introduction, things like that, feel free to ask those types of questions. I will be happy to answer them and comment and give you helpful feedback. Okay, so let's get started. Who am I? Why are we here? What is happening? So I am Jennifer O'Brien. Here is my YouTube channel. There's a link there. You can watch all my videos after this. But people like to talk about numbers. So here in my Bublup folder, I thought, okay, let's just get the numbers out of the way. I do want to mention that I started back in December. My first ever video posted to this YouTube channel was December 4th, 2016. So like keep that in mind for context of, how long it took for me to grow and how it does take a lot of time. It's a long game. It's not like you're gonna overnight have a ton of subscribers, but I put a lot of work in. So I do want to say I have over 150 videos, which is huge. Like think about the amount of time it takes to film a video, edit a video. I did that times 150 videos. And I'm so proud that I've built it to 22,000 plus subscribers. Everyone, so amazing. I have the best subscribers. They are so dedicated. There's some, I hope, on the call today, and I'm just so grateful for them. And most importantly, 9 million minutes watched. That's huge. Like, it's just so crazy and amazing, and I'm so grateful for it, how engaged my audience is. And it really is a wonderful platform that I highly recommend, people look into as a way to share video content, because it is the second biggest search engine after Google is YouTube. That's where people are searching for all sorts of different things. Here we actually have my first ever video, which was terrible. You guys, I took so long to edit this. It's half unboxing, half travel video. Okay, you get the picture. I kind of like, oh, it's just so cringeworthy at the end. Like just I look at this video and I think like this is so amazing how I've changed from that video, because in that video, I remember being so proud of myself, thinking, oh my gosh, I made a whole video that was 1 minute. And it took me like 8, 10 hours to edit that 1 minute video. There's a lot of points where I'm like, oh, I would have edited that differently. I would have fixed the color correction better, but I didn't know how. Like, it took me so long to figure out even how to have the title fade out. So it's the reason I share that is because you got to look back at the first video and laugh. If you're, not creating something, you just have to start. You have to start creating. So that is something that I really do want to stress. A lot of people ask me, is it too late to be a YouTuber? No, it is absolutely not too late to be a YouTuber. I think being a YouTuber is definitely, there's been a peak in the very beginning. It was a lot easier to grow a YouTube channel. However, I was later than a lot of YouTubers. I only started recently, and I still was able to grow and build a wonderful audience and connect with them in so many ways. Can I still be a YouTuber now? Yes, even in quarantine, you can be a YouTuber. It is actually probably one of the best times because you're stuck at home, and maybe if you have the right, mindset and opportunity to film and things like that, this could be a great time for you to start. Okay, but how much money can I make? We got to say it, we got to get that out of the way. Basically, when it comes to making money on YouTube, I would like to sort of say that it is a long game. If you want to start out and think that you're going to make thousands of dollars a month in the beginning, no. Like, I just want to make sure that you are clear that that is not how this works. It definitely takes a lot of time to build up to that. I right now make about like $400, sometimes $500 a month on YouTube. However, since quarantine, that is down almost 1/4 of what it used to be. So you do need to keep in mind that when it comes to making money off of YouTube, the bigger way is not AdSense, which is those numbers that I'm talking about right now, but rather in sponsorships and other bigger things. So don't think about the money. You want to really think about why you're becoming a YouTuber, and I'll get into that. And this whole, this whole talk will be, how do I become a YouTuber right now? So done is better than perfect. Seriously, I can't stress this enough. A lot of people say to me their biggest excuse of why they haven't become a YouTuber is because they, oh, like, I just want to perfect this video, things like that. No, you really have to, even that first video that I thought was, great at the time, there were certain things that I was like, I just need to publish it. And that once you take that step of, okay, you're 90% there, the video is done, but if you keep perfecting it, you're never going to post it. There has to be a point where you realize, okay, is it mostly done? Is it a learning process? Yes, then I need to post it. Okay, some people like to be broken down into milestones. So I tried to do this, but I do want to stress that this is different and in a different order for every person. But if it helps you, think about it this way. Your first milestone it's not about subscribers. I include that in here, yes, but it's really about making the videos. Number one, I would say make 10 videos. Just get them done. They don't have to be perfect. Edit them, publish them. You can always change your mind later and whatever. Nothing's permanent. It's fine. You're going to be good. So just make those first 10 videos, get that done. And then honestly, one step that a lot of people don't realize and something that has helped me is making new YouTube friends. So definitely make sure that you're connecting with other YouTubers. And the best way to do that is definitely through Facebook groups. I joined a bunch of Facebook groups in the beginning, and that helped me figure out if I had a very simple question about YouTube, where do I find this part of that, edit this, whatever, you can just type it into a Facebook group and people are there to help you, things like that. So helpful. I also started my career actually at the other end of it. I was at an agency where I was helping YouTubers with millions of subscribers connect with brands. And these Fortune 500 brands, huge companies, were looking to pay YouTubers. And when I was at this agency, I saw the behind the scenes of how much money you can really make and how much money the brands really had. So that definitely helped me, connect with other YouTubers. That combined with Facebook groups is such a great foundation, which definitely will help. Then, once you get to 100 subscribers, you get to pick your name, which means that I was able to have Jennifer O'Brien as my URL, which is a huge step. And then you connect with 1,000 subscribers, which is another huge milestone, combined with 4,000 hours of watch time. I also have to say, because I've worked with brands that did this through ads, it's not 4,000 hours of watch time through ads or advertising. It has to be organic completely, which is something that is very possible, daunting at first, but possible. If you just have one video that goes a little bit viral, you can get there, I promise. And then making 100 videos consistently, that is a huge step for me that helped me realize, like, wow, I feel so accomplished that I've made over 100 videos. And then, 10,000 subscribers and ... it continues like that. So this is just to sort of help guide you. I also have a folder here. It says, am I ready? And this is definitely like, this is something I wish I had, which is just a few of my favorite videos to motivate you of, if you feel like you're not ready and you want to, figure out, oh, am I really good for this? Should I be a YouTuber? This will help talk you through it. I'm not going to go through that now. This is why you have the link to the Bublup folder. Make sure that you join the Bublup folder and are, you can feel free to like, comment, interact with this content, copy and paste it and save it, and just like make sure that, you can create your own folders within Bublup and customize it to your liking, which is the best part. So there's two different types I like to separate it of YouTubers. There's the brand and then there's personality. And for the brand, it could be a person, like Nerdwriter is technically one person, but this person decided to basically turn that into a brand. There are, Mango Street, that's a couple, but they turned it into a brand. So when you're thinking about the name, thinking about what your channel is about, keep in mind that there are brands like these, and then there are also personalities. So I definitely highly recommend that you check it out. There are some amazing examples in here of some of my favorite YouTubers, like, of course, Casual, there I am, hello. But yeah, some really awesome examples of helpful, personalities versus brands as you're trying to think about, where do I fit into all of this? Definitely keep searching on YouTube and figure out, what types of content are other people doing? Where do I want to fit into it all? So now we have to talk about the why, which is so fun, and the most important thing before you get started is thinking about, why are you doing this? So Simon Sinek's Golden Circle is a great resource. I have a couple in here that basically show us that every organization starts with the what. Yay, I'm so glad so many people are joining. I'm just gonna exit out of that, cool. And then, so here you have, organizations often start with the what, which is what they sell, but then they, maybe they know their how, maybe they know what makes them different and special, but very few organizations know the actual why. And the why, it's not about making the money, that is a result. It's about the purpose, the cause, or the belief. It's the very reason your organization exists. I feel like this is something you want to think about, read, reread while you're trying to figure out what you want to do. So for it, I like how it dumbed it down. Why is your purpose? How is your process? What is your result? So this is all just examples of a school example. This is the Apple example, just to get you thinking about it. I'm going to speed through this because you can read this all later. I also really enjoyed this sort of like resource that I found. It's a Japanese concept called Ikigai. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. And when I was thinking about, my brand, and also even if you're rethinking about your career, which a YouTuber is a form of a career in the longer term, you might want to think about, okay, what do I love? That's what we all think about on the surface, is like, oh, what do I love? But then you also might want to think about, what does the world really need? Like, are people curious about, do they have issues with tech when it comes to certain things? Like, what are they searching for? What do they need help with? What are you paid for? So maybe think about, different jobs you've had and what people pay you for, and how you can combine that with these other categories, like what you're good at. So what I did when I saw this awesome graph was I specifically wrote down, okay, list of things I love, list of all of these different 4 things. And then I thought about, okay, how can I combine them for my YouTube channel, for my purpose, for my brand, to make sure that I'm doing the right calling for me. Super helpful, super helpful. I hope you guys love it. I really enjoyed this. And I also like how this one also labels these sections where if you're only doing what you can be paid for, then you might feel comfortable but feeling of emptiness. But if you're only doing what you love, you might have delight and fullness, but not wealth. So it's just finding, and these are just so helpful. Just sort of like contextualizing how you want to, combine what the world needs, what you're good at, all of these different things into the brand that you're building on YouTube. So they're very high level, but I think it's so crucial to be thinking about that why when you are creating your YouTube channel. Okay, I'm so excited. I see there's questions coming in. Love it. It's so good. Thank you guys. Oh, so glad. I call that the opposite of cringeworthy. Thank you. It's amazing. I'm so glad you enjoyed that video of the DJI, my first ever video. It's still cringeworthy to me, but I've gotten better at watching it, and I'm just like, okay, obviously I would edit things differently, but if I still stay in that mindset, then I never would have posted it. So you have to really start posting it. So glad that you agree. Okay, so let's talk about sort of the process. I know a lot of people like the step by step. So I gave you 9 steps, pretty easy, of what you might want to think about when you're first starting out to create videos. Okay, so why I want to create videos. Number 1, we just talked about the why, super crucial. And then number 2, what videos do I want to make? So I think that's the most fun, and I love getting caught up in that part of like, what do I want to make? Even this morning as I was prepping this, I was thinking, oh, I have this crazy idea. Like, I have so many ideas, and the idea stage is super fun, highly, you'll get caught up in it, and it's great, but you got to keep going. And this is one part that a lot of people forget about is the SEO research. So volume and competition. So I also included here 2 buddy links so that you can, it's not an affiliate link or anything, it's just there because I really like it. I love TubeBuddy, and I found it super helpful. I definitely recommend that you sign up for their mailing list. Feel free to ignore them until they give you the best deal ever. And I remember getting like a lifetime subscription for really cheap because I just ignored their emails enough so that they sent me that coupon, and I was like, yes, okay, now I'm gonna get it. And I use that for my SEO research, which means search engine optimization, and that is a combination of both volume and competition. So volume being how many people are actually searching for this. So I just posted a video recently about New York City apartments, sharing my apartment and 5 other YouTubers' apartments during quarantine, and volume. When I search New York City apartments, there's a ton of volume and like too much competition. So I want the right combination of a lot of volume but not a lot of competition, and I basically use that tool to keep finding the right combination. And then you keep improving your angle. So you figure out, where can I add something new and fill gaps where there are no videos? And that's the combination of using that research to edit and change basically your strategy. So then I highly, like this part I also get caught up on, and I shouldn't, is script the outline and the facts, but not every word. When I first started, I definitely scripted out almost every single word I would say in a video, and you could tell. So if it gets to a point where you can tell that every word is scripted out, then yeah, maybe you should just loosen up a little, have a glass of wine, I don't know. Just relax and let yourself go off script for sure. I think that is crucial. That's a big step that I wish I learned sooner. Plan the shoot. So if it's mapping locations, checking hours, or things like that, that's definitely a big step that will save you so much time in the long term. And then record the video on my tripod or with my friend, coordinating all of that. Prep the footage. This is the most important step that so many people do not do, is you've got to back it up and make sure that you're deleting any extra, basically I make a backup. So I'll have backups in multiple places, and then I'll delete the footage that I don't need. I'll label the folders. That's super crucial. And yeah, it's a lot of steps, but it helps me definitely save so much time in editing because I know where all the footage is from that one location because it's labeled in folders. Yeah, so okay, let's see, more questions, yay. We have a question that says, what do you feel is the single biggest change you've made in your videos from video 1 to video 100? Ooh, thank you so much, Stacy. What a great question. I would definitely say that the biggest change is story. I think when I first started out, that first video, it was bad because there was no purpose and story. I kind of combined an unboxing tech video with like a travel video that showed off the drone, but there was no purpose. There was no reason for people to stick around for the video. I didn't even want to stick around for the video because I'm like, oh my gosh, what is this? But when I now look at my more recent videos, I see that there's a story. There's a beginning, a middle, and an end. Even if I'm not telling a story that's a very specific story, even in the apartment videos, it starts out with my apartment, then I share my friends' apartments. There's more of an arc, and then it ends with, talking about, there's still more structure. And I think that having a story, no matter what type of content you're trying to make, is so important and so helpful. Great question. Kenneth, you're a great teacher. Oh, thank you so much. And it is, I agree, it is important to emphasize the long-term game of YouTube, because so many people think channels get popular overnight. And you're right, it's so not the case. People take on YouTube many years to really build up a brand and to really get to the stage that you see them at now. Okay, so this is gonna be the fun part. So here I have a link for, details for thumbnails, just in case you're wondering. But let's you guys, let's what's the word? Like tear my old thumbnails apart. So this is my really terrible first ever, sorry, not thumbnail, YouTube banner. So at the top of my YouTube channel, this is my banner, and I used to have this crazy thing. Yay, we have more people joining. Yay, I'm so glad. Here you see it said my name, and then it said travel, food, tech, lifestyle, new videos every Tuesday and Friday. I was over ambitious, of course, and I was like trying to do too many things. So I was trying to do too many things on too many days, and that was a little bit much. Also, why do I have this water as a, background? I thought it was a cool photo. I don't know, travel related. We'll give it to me, but we'll keep going. So then I did this stock photo, which looks too stocky. Sundays at 12 p.m. Okay, I figured out a day. Then I tried this photo, New York City. Then I tried another New York City on top of another photo. It's whatever. It's going in the right direction. Then I had this awesome travel photo I took on my drone. This is me, and the words get cut off. So you really, when you design your banner, you have to look at, they give you this ability to adjust it and to see what it looks like on desktop, TV, and mobile. And it looked good on desktop and TV, but not on mobile. And I would say, forget about the TV, because that's sometimes 5% of your audience. You really want to prioritize number 1, mobile, number 2, desktop, and number 3, TV, depending on your audience. But I would say mobile is very crucial to think about how that is presented. So I messed up here. Then I tried putting it here, still kind of cut off on mobile. But then I really liked this banner, which I've had for a while, which is one of my most recent ones. And I basically, oopsies. So I basically included here, my name, NYC Guides Weekly. I think that was really helpful that I had it for the full weekly, and that allowed me to, get out of saying a certain day. So if you feel like you can't commit, maybe weekly is another way to do it. If one day you're going to do it on Monday, another day you're going to do it on Thursday, and then at Jennifer's Camera. So that way people have my, information for social media. And I felt like this collage-y style allowed me to show some food, some Brooklyn Bridge, some Flatiron. I have a lot of favorite New York City buildings. But then this is my current, most recent one, and I think simple is always best. For example, I just have my name and at Jennifer's Camera because it's on all my socials, and I think that's a really good banner presentation. Simple, and you get the point across. I'm included in it. You see me and you see the camera, and that's honestly the best way for me to present what my channel is about. So when you're creating your banner, think about what is your channel about? Maybe you can look at other examples. Here are some that I really like. So this one, for example, Dan Mace, and then you see this fun outline of him, 2 videos every week. It gets to the point, you understand it. This one, also very simple, gets to the point. And you'll see on the bottom right-hand corner that this also includes the links. So keep in mind that you want to avoid covering that with too much noise, and also avoid the left-hand corner because previously the profile sort of covered it. but you just want to keep things in this safe center zone. And then we have more examples. You can basically, there's no right or wrong way to do this. You can, this one's a little bit busier, for example, but I like how they have this cutout of the person and it's more of a brand channel, so they have to have these logos. But there's just no wrong way to do it. I love how she includes like multiple photos. It's artsy, but you get the vibe. You understand what the channel is about through the photo. You understand it. And handmade, I get, okay, there's food, there's a little bit of everything. This is a hair related channel, so she has her hair really prominent, which is awesome. So great to see how like the little details carry out. I think some banners are not successful when they're just cut off here and here and then it's just blank space. You really want to be using all of that space. Really cool to see how all of these people had some really creative banners, all some great examples that you can, use as inspiration as you're trying to figure out, okay, I might want just my name, my logo, and maybe a little saying something like that. I like it when there's like a little arrow and it says more or subscribe or whatever. We use a lot of F words. I thought this was so funny because it kind of gives you that understanding of, oh, okay, shut up. Like this is a certain vibe. Like I get it. I love Sarah Dietschy's her banner because she has these really cool, colorful pops of color, colorful pops of color, you know what I mean, and new videos every week. So it gets to the point, and then it even has documentary, how-tos, behind the scenes, New York. So you get a vibe of like, okay, I understand what this is about, and I see her, so I identify with her. It's always great when you can include the face at that like zoomed in quality. Yeah, so we have one more quick question. Did it feel awkward? And let me read this, sorry. Did it feel weird or awkward to be starting a brand, holding yourself to a strict release schedule when your follower count was low? Yeah, definitely. And how did you stay motivated in the early stages to keep putting effort into polished projects? That is such a good question. Wow, Jordan, I'm like super impressed. I think that I definitely felt awkward. I was, creating videos and felt like in the beginning I was creating them for people that were just like maybe not paying attention. Maybe they also just like didn't necessarily figure out. So I think that like in the beginning, you put all these videos out, you put yourself on a strict schedule, and the first people that are watching it are just your parents and your closest friends. Like we just gotta say it out loud. Like that's what it is. But then once you can really, get into your groove, whether it's sharing it in a Facebook group that's related. Peter McKinnon, one of the reasons why he, an amazing photographer, YouTuber, he really grew so fast is actually because he says himself, he said he sent his videos to other photography websites and articles, and one of the articles featured him. That's why his third video did so well of camera hacks. He also had amazing, title and thumbnail and things like that, but it definitely helps when other people see it. So I would say it will be hard at first. Definitely keep going. Be okay with the fact that maybe people won't care about your first 10 videos, but once you get that traction, once you get that first video to really pop and have more viewers on it, it'll feel so rewarding that you've put in that time. Okay, so I want to do a fun exercise. Such a great question. Oh, amazing. A fun exercise with my friend Craig Adams. He has an amazing channel. Guess out of all of these thumbnails, which one had the most views? Which thumbnail stands out to you? Feel free to type it into the question section, and I'm just so curious to hear like what you guys think, did the best. This is kind of like a fun self exercise where it's, there's no right or wrong answer, but I do feel like when you look at some awesome popular YouTubers and videos, you will notice that there are thumbnails that stick out. And I think figuring out and identifying what makes this thumbnail stick out is going to be key for our next step, which is, how do we make thumbnails? What do we want on our thumbnails? I figured out different words and things like that, that it will help you so much, like make your thumbnail stand out. Okay, so the answer is, by the way, that this one is actually the one that stood out. So the one on, the middle right, far right, is the all, it's just an empty white room. And that one stood out, I think, because it was a minimalist tour. And because of his minimalist apartment tour, and you have an empty room, people are like, what? He doesn't even have a bed? And that made me click too. So I do want to say, like, that was really smart on his part. And then this one, can you guys guess? Yeah, so good guess, good guess. I'm so glad you guys are guessing, yay. And then this one, which one do you think stands out here? I mean, I'm gonna give you a second to just sort of think about it visually, if there was one that stood out to you more. Maybe you've even seen this video, but it was one of his most popular videos. And I do wonder, total speculation, I'm not sure if this is true, but I do wonder if the colors and things like that being so different and so vibrant helped this video stick out more than the others. So it was actually this one. So it was this beautiful, same spot actually on the middle far right, this green chunk of land that like looks like it's sticking out like a mountain. It's so beautiful. And that one actually got tons of millions of views and did really well. So now let's look at some more examples real quick. What makes, and I want us to think about what makes these thumbnails stand out, what makes them pop, what makes them clickable. Here we have another Peter McKinnon. We have Los Angeles sucks. 10 reasons. Make this video the most liked video on YouTube. So trendy. We've got big numbers here. I think that when I was looking at, so I was doing a lot of research in preparation for this to sort of figure out if I could find trends in all of these thumbnails in the past few weeks and the most popular thumbnails ever. And I wanted to dumb it down, if I could, into just a few words. Love this video by Casey Neistat. You can't. There are so many free ride, like just want you to like look at all of these and think about what it takes to make a really good thumbnail. Like this one, like, oh, okay, like excuse you. And then before and after, it's just sort of fun to see how all of these stand out in different ways. So I have this little note that I included, which is so nice, that on Bublup, on the bottom right hand corner, you can see this little add button, and you can add notes, you can add a little bit of everything, images, videos, all sorts of things. This is great when I'm sending a client my video beforehand, unlisted YouTube videos, whatever that may be. So it's good for storage, it's good for anything. Right here I have a note for myself and for you guys, which is that the SEO title versus the thumbnail copy. So you will notice that there are certain things that the title on the actual video is different than the words on the thumbnail, and that is so, like, this realization for me, I just figured it out one day, was like, wow, like there's such a difference between the SEO title than the thumbnail copy. And I want to stress that the SEO title could be longer. It could be like 3 to 8 words. It's way too long to actually put the entire title on a thumbnail, which some people try to do. They try to say like, how to use the New York City subway on a full thumbnail is not going to work. It's not going to fit. It's going to be too much. The goal is to really just answer questions and phrases in the title of what people might be searching in Google or YouTube, but then the thumbnail copy is short. It is 1 to 3 words or an arrow or just an image. So the goal is to get someone clicking the thumbnail before or after reading the official SEO title. Okay, so here are a few examples. Title example, when we see this fat one, so here you see fat, like really big, it's like really obnoxious, but the actual title is why you look fat in photos. Like, oh, okay, she's not trying to offend me, but it's a little abrasive and like makes me want to click on like, why is she calling this poor girl fat? This video is another example. Don't say this is very to the point, 3 words, no more, but the actual title of the actual video is 3 types of jokes that make people dislike you. So once you realize that and connect those dots and see that the actual words you put on the thumbnail don't have to be the entire title, that is such a crucial like turning point, I think, to make even better thumbnails. Okay, so I like did all this research into all these thumbnails, and then I divided them into 3 categories. Basically, interesting, yay, I'm so glad, thank you, Josh. So I decided to say, that when I looked at tons of different thumbnails, they all, the best ones, the top performing ones, left me feeling three main emotions. I was feeling surprised, like, whoa, like, okay. I was feeling offended because she's putting the middle finger up at me, like, I don't even know why. Or curious of like, what is this? So when I click on this, I broke that down into even more. But basically, surprise could be anything from money, like a big number. You're just like, oh my gosh, $280 million? Like, what does that mansion look like? Things like that, $1,000 on shoes. Like, this video is about so much more than that. But when you take a little part of that video and say, okay, it's really about $1,000 per month on shoes in the thumbnail, that's what gets someone to click. So I want you to think about a small part of the video or a transformation, a before and after, that you can visualize on the thumbnail. So before and after does really well, whether it's, color grading, or it's so cool to see this awesome star from Netflix's Never Have I Ever, how she, was in school and then became a Hollywood star. Like, it's fun to see like the shocking facts. You have arrows, you have before, you have after, and then for the other categories, I also included juxtaposition. So you have like really expensive versus cheap. You have multiple where it's like different faces. Like, why is he related to him? Like, what's happening there? And what connects a comedian and to Tim Ferriss. So mine versus McDonald's, like, so fun to see all of these juxtapositions next to each other. SF versus LA, like, I'm curious, what are the differences? And then the right versus wrong, you'll see this sort of like X versus the like green check mark, and I'm wondering, like, why does she have lipstick on her cheek? So that makes me click. And I think, thinking about all these different examples for your next video, what is it you're going to maybe put an arrow about? Like, something that makes people say, what the, like, what is happening? Or maybe they didn't know about Seneca Village. Now they can learn about it in this really popular video. A golden steak, still don't know what that is. Like, this gross, weird earwax thing. Like, nails that are scratch off. That makes me want to click because I did not know that that was a thing. So I hope these categories help you, guide you for your next thumbnail to figure out where they might fit into this. Offended, Craig Adams, stop Casey vlogging. This one, which is don't say this. Thumbs down, 10 reasons LA sucks. Why you look ugly in photos. Like, you can't, but I do want to keep in mind that the actual title is do what you can't, but the words that they put on the actual thumbnail was just short and sweet, you can't. And that feels offensive to me, and I feel like, you know what, I can click on this, and I will, and then I find out that it's a very inspirational, wonderful video. Love it. So, okay, so that's kind of the branding all in a nutshell. I'm like totally abbreviating because I want to get this going so that we have more time for questions at the end. Wow, time flies. Okay, cool. So, trailer. There are two different types of trailers that you might want to think about when you're thinking about your channel trailer, which you can set up as a video that basically plays when there's two different things that happen. A new person sees your channel for the first time, or your returning subscriber sees your channel. There are two different videos you could put. So I do want to talk about, when you first start, think about, what does your intro video want to say? Like, I have everything from, like random influencers, this awesome like couple who are backpacking after retirement. We've got Hanging with the Hamiltons. If you've seen Love is Blind, that was a great show, and they just started their YouTube channel afterwards. So I made sure to like include this example of, it's just them sitting on a couch. It's them talking about what you can expect from their YouTube channel. And I found that super helpful to basically, have it as an example as you're thinking about, okay, maybe I want to make an intro video. Maybe it's just me sitting down on a couch talking about what you're looking to expect. J-Lo, like Vaga Brothers, all different levels of people and their intros and like how they introduce their channels. But then the next step after that, maybe after like 10 videos, is that you will eventually have a trailer, hopefully, that has lots of different clips in it and all sorts of, it depends on if you have that type of content and you want to make a trailer for your video that feels a little bit more like a movie trailer, where it's like, all the things that happened in my year of 2017, or make it count, him traveling around the world to so many different places in a quick, fun video. This is a classic video, Cold's My Year 2016. Everyone like, you know, totally was inspired by it, including myself as I did my 2017 video. But then there's this awesome cliche travel video that makes fun of it, which I highly recommend you click on that and watch. Another inspirational video, some great different types of videos as you're thinking about your trailer to, you know, use as examples. And then we have our free templates, and then we're going to talk about questions. Basically, there are so many templates out there that already do so much work for you. I did not know these existed until recently when I was looking into all of this. There are so many. I knew about Canva, for example. I actually put a whole folder together of some of my favorite Canva tutorials, basically that you can use, you can customize, you can like move it around and stuff like that. But getting back to this, when you click on this, there are going to be so many different thumbnail examples that you can customize. It's just convenient that they have like a box of green and blue, and you can brand this so that you can customize each of the colors on Canva to be the colors that maybe you will create in your own videos and for your whole brand. But basically, you will find all of that here. And then PicMonkey is another one that has some really helpful templates for both the banner and for the thumbnail. And then this is really helpful, a PSD file of the banner so that you can customize it and know what the safe zone is, which is that center part, which is why I have my name written right here. It's like Jennifer O'Brien and my head right here. And then some more helpful templates, Adobe Spark, all sorts of amazing things that will help you. And now let's get into the good stuff. I have plenty of time for questions. I'm so glad. So please, you know, I hope you're enjoying this, and I hope that you use all of these resources. There's so many right here. The video will be here. If you missed part of it, just come back to the folder. It'll be right here. And then let's get into the questions. Okay, yay. Oh, I'm so excited. Glad to be able to get through that in a good time. Okay, so, ooh, do you think lighter or darker colors work better in banners? Good question. I would say, I would say that that's totally up to your preference. I do like when there's white incorporated in the banner. I like brighter things personally, and I like when white is incorporated. Maybe it's also a way that you can play with different things so that it feels, you know, clean. But like there's also some really good banners here that have like really good dark colors, and like I kind of really like this one that's very dark, and I love having white font on top of a dark background. So it totally depends on what your brand aesthetic is. Like I don't think there's anything, like no wrong way to do it for sure. And then other questions. Does YouTube penalize creators for using clickbait thumbnails? Great question. So I would say that there's no there's no official way that they penalize you for using a certain type of thumbnail or a certain type of title or things like that. But it's not about necessarily penalizing you as much as if you're basically creating a title or a thumbnail that's misleading and it's quote unquote clickbait, then I would say that you are essentially you're going to accidentally find that people aren't watching the full video, and they're not watching the full video because, you know, it was misleading. So I do feel like YouTube won't penalize you, but in the end you will find that that video won't do as well. So that is why you want to avoid doing something that's fully clickbait. Okay. What are the best, thank you, Bobby, for this question. What are the best colors for your YouTube banner and thumbnails? Yeah, so I feel like it's, there's no color that's right or wrong, because I've definitely, like in the beginning, I totally tried and kept like changing it around and figuring out, okay, you know, maybe it's this blue, that's my brand blue. And then I'm like, no, maybe it's just white. And like, there's no right or wrong answer. I think you definitely want to experiment with lots of different thumbnails, see what you like. I will actually change my thumbnail sometimes like 10 times before I'm happy with it. So I'll A/B test it in the way that I'm just, you know, I try it out for a little bit, I try a different thumbnail, and then if one thumbnail all of a sudden does really well, I'll be like, okay, that's the thumbnail that gets people to click. I'm going to keep it with that. So definitely experiment with lots of different thumbnails, because there's no right or wrong, but you will find that there are definitely a lot that can be more clickable, and definitely experiment with different, like if you write, for example, here, like the before and the after on this girl's face, or if you just have the after, or if you have an arrow instead, like there's so many different ways to say and share the same video in a thumbnail that you can definitely experiment with. Okay, was there something special you did or changed for your first video that went viral? Or was it a consequence of you being in the groove and released consistent content until you hit the right subject at the right time? Ooh, such a great question, Jordan. Thank you. I think so the first video that will go viral will always surprise you. Like I definitely, I believe in this. I think it's never going to be the one that you wanted to go viral or that you thought was going to go viral. It's always a video where your hair looks bad. Like people who talk about their first viral video, it's always like they have something in their teeth. They wish they did this differently. They wish they edited it better, something like that. For me, my biggest, like my video that went viral was a video that I went to some random cruise event, and I like filmed something on my phone. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't have my camera with me, so I was like, oh, I guess I'll film it on my phone. And I never do this, but I posted it to YouTube because it looked kind of cool. And I posted this like little man, little chef making your food, your dessert at this cruise event for free. And it went viral, and it was like it got like 10,000 views immediately, and I was like, oh my god, like it's working. What's working? And I think that it just happened to be a cool, unique thing that people were just like curious, like why is this cool light show making my dessert? And that was just really cool, and I think that's why it went viral. It's not necessarily going to be the quality or the highest quality video that you're going to spend hours on. Sometimes it's the video that you just make for fun of it, but it resonates with someone and they share it and then they share it, and you'll never know what the first video will be that goes viral. So I do think that you want to just keep trying, keep experimenting, make a lot of different content so that you can see what ends up doing well. And then once you have that first video go viral, a lot of YouTubers say this too, you want to keep building into that momentum. So if your first video goes viral on your minimalist apartment tour, keep going, like figure out the other angles that you can do around that same content and concept, because YouTube will see, oh, people love that on your channel. Let me share more of that similar types of video to your audience and your subscribers. Okay. Next question. Ooh, what is a good source for your music? What a great question. So I use Epidemic Sound. Artlist, there's so many different ones that you can also check out. I use Epidemic Sound, but there's no right or wrong answer. I use it because there is a YouTube subscription that's like $15 a month, and I can use unlimited music for my YouTube, my podcast, Instagram, whatever, for free without worrying about the issue of having a copyright infringement, because I've had that once before by like accident, and I was ice skating in Rockefeller Center, and you can slightly hear the music, and YouTube will immediately, they'll be like, nope, no, you don't have the rights to that music. They take away all of your AdSense for that video and put it towards the Grammy-winning artist who actually sang that song in the background, which, okay, but it's frustrating. So I definitely want to stress that you never want to steal music from anywhere that you don't have rights to. You always 100% want to use copyrighted music, like I've used it from Epidemic Sound. It's such a great resource, easy to find things. Okay, what you recommend starting YouTubers to invest in camera equipment if they don't have much money? Many of them can easily cost thousands of dollars. Great question. So I would say that when it comes to figuring out the gear, so many people definitely stress like, oh my God, I need the biggest, nicest, newest camera. Actually, no. When you first start out on YouTube, just use your phone. Like that's all you really need. And I do recommend you start there, because if you spend $1,000 on a camera that you never use, then it's not going to help you. If you start on your phone and you just like make it as easy to enter as possible into the YouTube space, and most importantly, have your lighting. I've got my ring light here, I've got my window, I've got light on both sides. They focus on that more than worrying about the expensive camera. Then figure out if you like it, and then maybe do like a smaller, cheaper mirrorless camera. There's a bunch of like cheap entry-level cameras. I think Sony has one, Canon has one. There's so many different ones. I started, my first mirrorless camera was a Fujifilm, there's so many different options that can be between $100 and $500 that can get you a good entry level quality that still looks great, 4K, things like that. But in the beginning, use your phone. Okay, we have 10 minutes left. I want to get to all these questions. So excited that you guys are asking such good questions. How do you find a balance between doing what works and going against the grain, like thumbnails or video topics? Thank you, Marsha. Oh, so I have all sorts, like I've heard it from many different people. Like some people say, their thumbnails, they're like, oh my God, the emoji works for me, but it's, not necessarily going to work for other people. Some people say, oh, I'm all about not having any words on my thumbnail. Good for them. If that works for them, cool. It's harder. But for me, I like to have some words. I like to have words in white. Very rarely will I have a border. Sometimes I'll have a border. But maybe I'll have a little bit of a shadow to make sure that there is the text popping out from the background. And it's like a subtle shadow. But I think definitely the balance between what works and going against the grain is finding your voice and like figuring out your aesthetic. There's so many good like templates here in Canva that I linked in this folder that I definitely recommend you check out, because that's where you're going to find so many like things that might where you see like, ooh, I don't like this little like drawn in star or whatever. I like this style better. I like, the black and white like style better. I say try them all, and then you'll figure out, even like with video topics too, going against the grain. I think there's always going to be another video. To be honest, when you first start, you might think like, oh, why do I start with things like that? But there might be another video about something similar. You need to figure out like, what do I add to it? Maybe it's your personality, maybe it's your perspective. You've done a job of something, and you can talk to that experience. And I feel like just like putting your own spin on things will help you and help you find your voice, both aesthetically on the thumbnails and in your video topics. Okay, what type of camera do you recommend? Yes, so I kind of talked about that, but the current camera that I am shooting on is actually the Panasonic GH5. So I love that camera. I was one of the first ones to get, like, I got it especially like right after like Casey Neistat started using it, and Dan Mace was using it, and a bunch of other YouTubers started using it, and I was like, I hopped on that quick, and I was like, yep, I'm gonna need that expensive camera. And I really like it because it has the flip screen, but it is super expensive. So I do really recognize that that is a later on YouTuber camera that is great, when you are able to spend a few $1,000s on a camera and really invest in it, but you do not need that when you first start. That's the Panasonic GH5 that I shoot on. So yeah, I think start with your phone and build your way up, small mirrorless, before you get to the GH5. Okay. So what program? Oh, such a good question. So I use Adobe Premiere Pro to edit my videos. There's no wrong answer. Like some people love Final Cut Pro. I do edit on my MacBook, and I have edited before on PCs. So there's no right or wrong answer to this one, but there are so many programs out there. For me, I had issues with iMovie when I first started editing in iMovie, and I realized repeatedly that that was not going to cut it for me. So then because of that, I ended up like just saying like, this is not going to work. I had multiple crash, and then was like, I'm going to invest in Premiere Pro. There's so many great tutorials on Premiere Pro, so it all helps you get better at it in the long term. Okay. And then, so yes, okay, so you can see my beautiful face. Hello. So I got a little ready just for this. Otherwise, I'm just, hair is in all the different directions normally. Um, so next question, and feel free to, keep the questions coming. I'm so excited to have them here. And, I also want to say, as we have 5 more minutes left, make sure that you've joined this folder, this Bublup folder, which is in your email in the link that was sent to you, the last email. And make sure you check this out. Like, there's a folder all for you guys, and you can add your thumbnails, video, whatever you want input on, like related to a thumbnail or a video. I will happily, share as much as I can my knowledge in anything that you're curious about. So, so basically, let's see, what is the other question I want to get to? I also feel free to keep typing in questions. Okay, so which YouTube analytics tools do you use? You mentioned TubeBuddy in the beginning, any others? So great question. I definitely use YouTube analytics for the most part, and I do like TubeBuddy is great for analytics, comparing different channels, great for all sorts of different analytics, but honestly, all I use is TubeBuddy and the YouTube analytics section. Yeah, it's been that has been helpful. I've worked at different companies where we've used other tools, but I think in the end, YouTube Analytics does share enough for me personally. And have okay, have it Ash, but just wanted to say I thoroughly enjoyed your webinar. Oh, thank you so much. I've already subscribed to your YouTube channel and looking forward to seeing some more awesome content in the future. Thank you, Stacy. I really appreciate it. That's so wonderful. So glad that it was helpful to you. I hope everyone enjoyed it. Feel free to, I know we're almost at our hour. I'm going to answer one last question, and if you have any more, feel free to type them in. And this will be recorded and it will live in the Bublup folder. So don't forget to join the folder and make sure that you feel free to, use those resources. That's for you. Okay, so audio question. Do you want to capture the ambience with a shotgun mic or a lavalier is best? Ooh, great question. Thank you for asking. I almost always use my shotgun mic, and my friends who I love them, they're great. They always yell at me. They're like, Jen, you have this $500 expensive lav mic you should use. And I always forget to use it because it's a little bit more complicated to set up, and recently I had a situation where I was recording it in Times Square and then all of the audio is messed up because there's so much interference in Times Square. So I would say that a lavalier mic is a more advanced mic that is great if you want that distance from the camera. It's great if you are, maybe it's loud around you, things like that. But I do feel like you just always re-listen to the audio while it's in camera just to make sure that there's no interference. That's one thing I would say about lav mics. And then for the shotgun mic, I definitely lean on my shotgun mic more because of the convenience of it. And to capture the ambiance, I would say that you want a little bit of ambiance. So especially for if you're combining different types of shots, or if you're combining what might be like a voiceover afterwards that you record differently in your home, like I will do sometimes. I'll just record it on my mic, my podcasting mic, and then I'll add it in, and it sounds so much crisper. So I will definitely add in underneath it the sound of ambiance from another video underneath to keep it so that it doesn't sound like different audio. So good question. Shooting question, what works better, shooting closer or wider? I would say that you always want to have a mix. So you can definitely, like, there's no wrong answer here, but having a mix of different shots is how movies are successful. In the beginning of a movie, you always have that zoomed out shot of, it could even be from space and then you zoom all the way in. And that equivalent on YouTube is you have the drone shot sometimes. It's like, okay, here's the drone shot. Or it could just be a wide shot from, the subway platform overlooking the beautiful New York City skyline, or from a rooftop, whatever. But you've got that beautiful establishing shot so that people know, oh, look, we're in New York. And then you have the shot that's a little bit closer, maybe so you see my full body walking up with the Empire State Building behind me. I'm walking up, and then I get to the front of the camera, and then I start talking, and you have this closer in shot. So I would say a mix of shots for sure. Thank you so much. It helped me so much personally. Yay, I'm so glad. Thank you, Kira. Wonderful. I'm so glad that you were attending. Everyone's so wonderful for all your questions and attending. I really appreciate it. If there was one thing you could tell your younger self, what would you have done differently building your channel? Ooh, this is such a good one. I would say definitely don't stress the small things. Don't worry about the competition. Don't worry about things like that. Don't think about the numbers, because in the beginning I totally stressed about the number of comments or the number of likes or whatever. But in the end, it technically doesn't matter. You got to really focus in on creating the best content, the best quality content, because that will trump any of the hacks to try to get, if you're just trying to oh, how can I get the most likes? Should I say, oh, like and comment and forget about it and try to just create quality content, and then other things will come. I think I wish I knew that. Any specific tips for making interesting videos with a drone? It seems like a great tool, but hard to stand out. Yes. So I made a video about this, and then all the like intense droners like attacked the video, and I was just like, okay, chill. But basically, I have a lot of thoughts on this. And when you make videos with drones now, I do have to establish that there are so many places that you legally cannot do that. So you do have to, step one, make sure that it is legal in the places where you are filming. Step two, even if you're having actually stock footage, which I definitely love using stock footage, I use Storyblocks for stock footage. If you are using stock footage, I would say that you should definitely think about where is that coming from? Are they legally allowed to film in that place with a drone? Because you can still get in trouble in certain cases sometimes. So just be careful about that. And then I would say that when you're starting with a drone, start with very simple moves. Everyone tries to move really fast with the drone, and then the quality of the video is just like shaky, you can't see it, it's like blurry, it's moving too fast. So I would say move slowly and perfect moving one axis at a time. And then once you get really comfortable flying your drone, not crashing it, then I would say move on to using two axes at the same time. So that is the key to droning. And I think that no one talks about this. No one, because I don't think they want to share the secret. But like, I'll tell you, it is because drone footage looks good when they are moving two axes at the same time. So it means that the drone is like, maybe it's moving up, but it's also moving out at the same time. And it's like, whoa, like that's what gets the whoa shot instead of just the basic up shot or a cross shot. It's both moving like this at the same time gets like that whoa drone shot. Okay. Yes, I have to head out. As always, learned so much. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it and so helpful. Wonderful. So we have, thank you guys. Yay. We have just gone through all the questions and I am so grateful. 2:02. Yay. We are doing great on time. Oh, I'm so glad. This is like so good. I feel good. I hope you guys feel good and ready to take on YouTube. And now you have all the resources in this folder. Please feel free to comment, like things, interact with it, especially in this folder. Add your own thumbnails and videos, which is number 7. And yeah, any other questions? I really appreciate it, you guys. This has been so fun and I love talking about YouTube. So getting to talk about it with you guys and answer your questions is like, I love it. So great. Oh my gosh. So, you know, keep asking questions. I'm here for you if you need anything. Jennifer O'Brien on YouTube, Jennifer's Camera on Instagram. And yeah, all of the resources are here in the Bublup folder. Thank you again to Bublup for helping, you know, make this happen. And yeah, I think that's all. Okay, well, thank you again. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye.